Hi everybody, June here from Red Daisy Crafts. So happy to be here today. I'm excited to share the alternates I have planned, and I want to say thank you to everybody that follows me and subscribes to my channel. So thank you very much for staying in touch, and we've got some fun things planned. I have 3 cards because I am gonna probably not be here next Sunday, so I want to go ahead and get all 3 done if I can. If I can't, then I will pop in next Sunday. But I kind of used up all of my kits, so I don't have anything left. I'm super excited to begin with these. So we're going to start with what I think might take the longest. And before we get going, I just want to remind everybody that we are in the period of subscribing to the Bikes and Blooms June Paper Pumpkin. You have 3 more days to subscribe to that for that kit, or pause, whichever the case may be. This is going to have some silver foiling and silver embellishments. So really excited to play with this kit. Looks like a lot of fun, and some bright colors for the summertime. So let's go down to the table and let's see what we got. All right, so my first card idea for you today is going to be a little bit of a fun fold and a shaker card. So I've got some things going on inside of there, and it just pops up like that. So it is an easel card, as you can see, and it's got a really fun inside. So really beautiful card here. But we're gonna use some different elements for making the one we're gonna make together. Like I said, I've kind of already used a lot of the pieces in my kit, and so we are getting down to the end of what I have. So we're gonna make this same card idea, but we're gonna use a different card base and materials from the kit. And I just remembered I need to grab some ink. So let me get that real quick while I am thinking about it, because then we can just move it along. So let me get this. I got pumpkin pie, and what was the other one I needed? Oh, what is it? Oh, crushed curry. Yes. So we are going to be bringing in a little bit of pumpkin pie and crushed curry, and that might give you an idea of which card base we're going to be working with. So let me get all my pieces out here and try to keep it somewhat in order. Oh, here it is. All right. So we are going to be working with some elements. Okay, so I have an envelope piece here. Hey, Wanda, thanks for joining. We're going to have some fun today. All right, so this is going to be the piece that's going to be this background piece right here. It's going to be the layer that goes onto the card base, okay? And you can see here we have the yellow, the orange, and the purple. So I needed ink to work with that. And then what's going to go in the window is this piece. That's what's going to go inside the window. All right. So it'll get kind of layered up on here like this. Okay. And then we have our window pane. And I want to show you what I did with this because I have trimmed it. And I want to make sure I have all my pieces because I'm afraid I lose my pieces here. So I did trim this down, and it looks like I am missing one of my pieces. Oh, I'm throwing other pieces on the ground. Oh my goodness, what did I do with that? All right. Oh, here it is. All right. So this piece here, when it came out of the kit, I took off 1/4 of an inch on each side. Okay. Like that. All right. And then actually it was at the bottom here. So then I also took off about 1/2 inch then of the bottom. Okay. So this leaves us with like 1/4 of an inch all the way around at the top and the bottom and on the sides. So just wanted to kind of explain like how I got my sizing down. And we're going to do some inking on this with our blending brush. Okay. And then this envelope piece that's going to go on to the card front, it is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then this piece that's going to go behind here like that. This piece is from the card base. So 1/2 of the card base. And it's 3 1/2 inches by 4 5/8 is what it is. Now I will tell you, whenever I cut this out and I don't have a full card base to really share with you, I used as much of, like, I did not trim any off the top of the card. I took what I did trim off from the sides because I wanted as many of the larger lanterns here, and then I took primarily the most off of the bottom. Okay, and then you can see how it's a layer up onto there. I think it's going to look really nice. And this is going to go on top of here, so it'll be a little bit like that. Okay, and I am using a black card base for this. So this is 4 1/4 by 11. And we're going to do a little bit of scoring on here. We're going to do scoring at 2 3/4 inch on the long side. Okay. And then at 5 1/2. Okay, like that. All right, so that's our card base. All right. Then on the inside of the card, because when I was showing you, I have this inside, which I think it looks so nice. Okay. On the inside of the card, I found this, like, I don't think this is still active, but so you could use any kind of silver foiling paper that you have, but I liked this because of the iridescent and the fun stuff there. And we're going to mostly cover it up, but it's going to be the frame there. So I have this piece. Let me tell you the measurements for it is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then this piece is going to layer on top, and it's from the envelope again, 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And then I have a little piece of white to go on top of there. And this piece is 3 inches by 4 inches. Okay. So these will get layered up just like that. And that's going to go on there. Okay. and then we will make a place for the stopper for the easel card, but that's kind of where we're at the moment. So before we do anything else, I want to begin to do the inking on our window pane or frame. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of this kind of ombre-ish look on to here. All right, now I do want to make the frame part, as much of it as I can. I want to make it the where is it? Where did my ink go? Oh, Blackberry Bliss. So I am going to try and make most of my frame the Blackberry Bliss. Okay, and so we're going to start with that. And like I said, we're making this from the get-go, so I am not entirely sure how this is going to turn out. So we're just going to go with it. Okay, and but I do think we may end up having to do the whole thing in Blackberry Bliss, but I'm going to try to bring in some of that orange and the yellow and the crushed curry, only because I think it would look really cool to have it be a part of it. So we are I'm not overly concerned because it's just the frame itself here, but we are going to now come in and begin to color the top of this. Okay, and get a lot of ink up here on the top part of here before we start to bring in any other colors. So I'm going to grab my little brush here that I'm going to use for the pumpkin pie and start to bring a little bit of that in here. And so we're just going to bring a little bit of it in right on the edges, like here, and then a little bit on this side. Okay. And then I'm going to bring, let me get this part down here, a little bit darker on that frame. And then we have our crushed curry. And I'm looking for my brush. Where is, oh, here we go. I think this is the one, yeah. So we're just going to have a little bit of this coming in at the bottom of here. And I do want it to be darker than the actual design because I want it to stand out, but I want to see what we can do to just bring in this a little bit more here. All right, I think I'm good with that. I think it'll look a lot better once we get it all put together, but I think we're good with that. Now I may want to put a little bit more of the Blackberry Bliss at the top to darken that up a little bit up here. And oh yeah, I think I like that better. I think that's good. All right, if I see if I got my fingers all messed up. I'm going to move these out of the way for now. I think we're going to be using the Blackberry Bliss, but let me get all these brushes out of the way. There we go. All right. How is everybody doing today? I know I'm jumping in, but I'm also a little concerned that things might take a little bit today, just because of doing this blending and the shaker piece for this card, this first card. The other two fairly easier from that perspective. So that's what we end up with. Oh, I do like it, I think, because it's going to go on here like that, but also this is going to go behind it, right? And it has this black at the top, right? So it's going to go like that. So I do think I like how the window came out like that. So that's what's going to end up. Ooh, I keep moving it around. Guess it'll be better when I glue it down, but I think that's going to look great. And then it's going to go on this black, which I think is going to make it even pop out more. So very, very cool. All right. The only thing I'm not too sure about is my little sequin, because I do want to use the same sequin, but it has that turquoisey color in it. So who knows? That may not go that great, but we'll find out. So I have a couple things here for my shaker part. And so normally I like to use one of the clear envelopes. If you've ever used that before to make a shaker card, you're going to have it so that the adhesive part is to the back, okay? And you put it in here, pour in your little sequin, and then we kind of like close it up. But we now have a different size cello bag right now available, which is 4 inches by 8 inches. And I'm kind of wondering if this is still too big. I'm wondering if this would even be better, but I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with the envelope. I thought maybe that might work, so I wanted to get it out here and at least let you know that was available. So we're going to stick our little card base in here, okay? And I'm going to get my sequin out here. And we're going to put some sequin in here. Try not to make too much of a mess. Get a good amount in there. Close that back up. Now this, again, I don't know if this is still available, but this is the Itty Bitty Brokaw mix. It's 164618. It's really pretty. But the only other sequence I thought that I might have was gold, and I didn't want gold. So we're going to close this up. Oh, we got one on the back. See if I can get that down and out. Down under there. Oh, it's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. So let's see here. Only had that one little piece, and now I'm trying to fight 10 million pieces, right? All right, there we go. And we're just going to go with that, just like that. All right. So I do like to close up the top first, just to get that laid down. Okay. And then I'm going to fold this piece over. It's going to go like that. So I like to give it a good crease on here just to help it. And then I'm going to use some tear and tape to lock that down. Okay. So I'm going to put my tear and tape. I'm going to put a little piece inside there first because I have this little flap here and it's going to poke up if I don't tack it down. So now we got that tacked down. So now I'm going to put my tear and tape right on the edge of this envelope piece that I need to fold down. Okay. And then I'm going to take up the adhesive cover on it. Get that out of the way. And then I'm just going to fold this over, make it nice and tight. And so there's our sequin, okay? So that's what we have for our sequin. All right, so I think it'll be okay. I think that that turquoise in there is not too bad. And then this is going to be what goes on top of it, like that, okay? All right, so first thing we're going to do is tack this down onto here in the center, and then we will add our window. Okay. And so I am going to use the tear and tape again for this, only because the liquid glue is not going to work with all of this cello. All right, like it might eventually dry, but it's going to be really slippery. All right, we got to the end of that tear and tape. So I think I'm going to need one more little piece. So let me get that right here. I'll just put it like this to get it in the corner. All right, so let's take off these. And then we'll tack this down. Oh, one more. One more. So have you guys, I know, Wanda, you've made a shaker card before. But I want to get it up here. Get it as even on here as possible. There we go. Little tiny bit over. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to press all that down really good. And so that's where we're at to this point. Okay. And throw that out. All right. So we have our card base. And I'm going to fold this over, make sure that it's folding correct. And then I'm going to do the same here. Okay. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of stamping before we go any farther. Okay. So these pieces are the, it is, isn't it? I think it's going to be really pretty. And that's why I thought, oh, I'll do a different style, but the same situation. All right. So we have our liquid glue here. So I'm going to glue my pieces down. Again, I don't love using glue with foil like this, but this is not as difficult as the cello was. So the foil still will be a little bit slippery, but this is good right here. All right, let's go ahead and do a little bit of stamping. So you can see what I did on the inside was I did some stars, okay? And we're going to need a little strip of white. Well, what did I do with that? I have this, but this is going to be too big. Let me go ahead and cut a strip here. Let me figure out what size. So the little sentiment strip is 3 1/4, and I think it's 3 3/4. Yeah. Let me just cut that really quick here, and then we can do our stamping. Okay. So we got 3 1/4 and then a 3/4 of an inch. A little bit crooked. There we go. All right, so now we have that. All right, so let me get my foam mat. All right, and we got our center, and I do need to clean my stamp. Where did it go? Here we go. I don't want to lose my pieces. But I don't remember what color I used on this last. And I know I didn't clean these. So, and since we're using different colorings, I want to make sure that these are all cleaned up. Okay. All right. So for the stars, let's use the blackberry. Is that right? What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Actually, I think I might use my memento. I think I'm going to use memento for my stars, just to stick with the color theme. Okay. And so in here, I put a couple up here at the top, and I just kind of turn these so that I am not doing everything in the same direction. Okay. And then one over here. And I think that'll do the stars. All right. And then for this piece, so I think out here, I think I'm going to use the Blackberry Bliss for both of the sentiments. Okay. And you probably have a Blackberry Bliss Stampin' Spot if you don't have a big ink pad of Blackberry Bliss, because I'm almost positive it's been a paper pumpkin ink before. But if you don't have a lot of the ink colors, one great way to do that is to get like the ink spots that are without ink, and get refills, ink refills, and make your own ink spot. That way you have, you're not getting into this big, huge investment. Just a thought. All right. And one other thing I just decided, it's totally random, didn't do it on the other one, is why not add a couple of fireworks? So we can do one in the crushed curry. I think that would be fun to add one right up here. And then let's add one in the pumpkin pie. Should we clean that? On this other side. Ooh, I love it. Perfect. All right. That's going to be so fun on the inside of the card. All right, so we got our stamping done, and now we can put our card together. All right, so we're not doing too bad. I thought this was going to be a lot longer to put the shaker and the blending together, so not too bad here. Now I am putting this a little closer to the top because we do have the stopper that we need to put down here. And that is going to be this piece here. Okay. Now I do have a couple of things that I'm going to do here. So I'm going to add a couple of, I don't think I'm using this. I think I already decided that. All right. I am going to add this Blackberry Bliss strip to the top of this edge. Not all the way, but right here. Okay. Just to bring the colors, all the colors together. All right. And then I have a little lantern that we're going to use here. So this is going to go right on top of here like that. Or do I want to put it down? Well, that's not going to work on there anyhow. I think I'm having all kinds of ideas right now. I have this little piece of my fireworks left over, and I was thinking I could add it here on this edge and then trim it off and then add this right on top of. I think I like that idea. I'm going to just add it right here. Put a little glue there. Okay. So I'm going to bring this up there. So it's just hanging off a little bit at the bottom. This is why you don't want to toss out like all your little pieces when you're still creating, because you never know what might come in handy. Just apparently threw a pen on the floor. All right, so now I'm going to trim this off, but I need my glasses for that. These old eyes are going to be giving me trouble. Oh, I love that. So that's going to come, and we're going to put it right down here. And we're going to add this on top of here. Perfect. Just a little bit of splash of fireworks there. Okay. So that's going to go, and we're going to put that on with dimensionals. Okay. So we have our inside that we need to put down. Okay. It's going to go here. And so let's do that. I have a new bottle of glue, so I'm trying to be careful because sometimes they get a little juicy. You get used to pressing harder to get glue out, and then all of a sudden you got a new one and you're like, whoo, oh, so much comes out at one time. All right, so this is going to go right on here at the bottom like that, and we're going to put it on with some dimensionals. So I have from my stash some dimensionals here, and we're going to put this on. Oh man, these dimensional covers, I swear, they are giving me heck lately. Keep wondering if it's me or everybody. All right. So that's how that ends up looking. And we're still within the frame of the card, so our little firework ends are not poking out too far. All right. And so that's how that will get stopped right there. All right, so now let's put the front of our card together. So this piece gets glued down first. All right, so let's go ahead and put that on. Okay, and maybe we still have something we can do with our lantern that I pulled out. There we go. Just press all this down. Everybody having a good weekend? All right, so this is going to go on top of here like this, and we're going to put it on with some dimensionals. And I want to make sure that I place them in the right places. But before we do that, I want to open up our window just a tad. Okay, so this little thing here, I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of bend our window open. Some little pieces aren't unhooked yet. There we go. And then let's get this one. All right. And so just gently bend these forward just a tad like that. So connected there. There we go. Just like that. All right, so now we're going to use our dimensionals to put on this top layer. So I'm going to put one up here and one up here and out here at the corner. Seems like a lot, but it's just to get it supported. And then I'm going to go down here. And I want to see if I can, I might need the mini ones on the side. Where do my mini ones go? Here we go. We're going to need these down the side. Probably way more than we need, but that's all right. And then we'll put a couple across the bottom here. Now, if I was smart, I probably would have used black dimensionals just because I think it would probably hide itself better. But this is going to be just fine. So I'm going to try and get my sequin out of the edges and making things poking up so that I have more of a flat edge to work with whenever I put this on. Okay, so now let's take all these off. Make sure they're pressed down good. Okay, do these bigger ones first. There we go. Now just make sure I got all these pressed on. Get these off of here. I'm excited to see how this looks because I think it's going to be beautiful. There we go. A few more on this side. Have y'all been making things with your kit yet? Have you been able to get to it? Is this? I'm going to make sure we got it in the center. There we go. There we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can you believe what I did? I put it on upside down. Oh, these are not going to be friendly to come off of this. Oh my goodness. Too excited to see it all put together. Boy, these are not nice to the cello. Oh my goodness. But here's the thing you get is what not to do for sure. And there's usually always a way to fix things, but we are gonna fix this for sure. That also means probably that this is down in the wrong direction. This whole thing is down in the wrong direction. Oh my goodness, what on earth was I thinking? Oh my goodness. It is not going to be an easel card, people. It's not, because I glued it down. I'm so upset with myself. It'll still be fun. It just won't be an easel card. All right, well, you saw it here first, all the mistakes, to test something out before you do it, right? You know the feeling. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know. This isn't the first time, right? And how fun to do it with you. So all good. We can still have a fun, beautiful card. We're just not going to have that fun easel effect. So if you're watching and you're thinking, oh, this would be fun to make, let me tell you what I did wrong, because it's really important. Is you do not glue down the top part of the card, because it needs to stand up. So for example, if I get my fingers unglued, so from this score line up here, it was going to stand up, so we should not have put glue on that part. That's the mistake. And then, of course, the other mistake was putting it on upside down. Oh my Lord. Okay, let's do this again, and we'll get it in the right direction. Thought we were doing good on time, but now maybe not. Sorry about that, folks. Where is my mini dimensionals? They were right here. I guess I'll use a new one. I don't know what I did with it. Okay. All right, we probably don't need as many as I had, so I'm going to do them a little bit farther apart. And there we go. It's all good. If you're tuning in, I made a mistake, or making an easel card, and now, oh yeah, I could probably do that. It's all right. I'm over. I'm over it. At least I have the other card for you to see the example, but ay. Still be messed up on the back. If, it's going to stand up, I don't think it would. Think it would be very messy looking on the back if I did that even. So it's okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. Now we got it in the right direction with the lanterns at the top. Right? There we go. There we go. All right, so now that's how it looks. And got all kinds of little things shaking around in there. I don't think the turquoise is bad at all. So I'm glad to hear that. All right, and then when you open it up, the bad part is it's not an easel. but that's okay. This is what it would look like if you had made an easel card. All right. We do still have this little pop-up in here, but that's okay too. We are going to add our little sentiment here. And I was thinking we could add the other little lantern, but maybe I'll just add it right out here on the side. I don't know. What do you think? Left side with the lantern. Right side, no lantern. Let me know what you think. In the meantime, I'm going to stick on my sentiment dimensionals. And you let me know. Lantern on the left with the sentiment. Both things there. Or sentiment alone. Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate it. It is still pretty. I agree. All right, so I'm gonna wait and see if anybody has a comment about what to do with that. And we're gonna get started on the next card. Now, this is something that I saw Rachel Tessman doing. And this is not the same as what she did, but I liked the idea. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is somewhat the same. Lantern at the top right. Oh, nice. Cute. No lantern so you can see the shakers. That's a good point. Hi, Cheryl. Did you see my big mess up? All right. I think I agree. In order to see the shakers, we should not add the lantern. So I'm going to just add our little sentiment right here. As much off there. And that's what we have. Now, I could have colored it like this here. I guess that would have been nice, but I'm good with it. So that's what we end up with for this card. It was intended to be an easel. All right. But June made a mistake. That's okay. Still really pretty. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. And as I mentioned, Rachel Tessman had showed this. Now, this one is not what she did, but the next one I think is more in line with it. And I used a little bit of that other foil that I had behind it to give like some dimension, but some of these are raised and some of them are flat. Okay, so this is what we're doing with the other piece of that card base. Okay, so I have this for the inside of the card, and this is for the outside. And now I got to get these in the right order again, just to make sure I got it all going in the right direction, because I'm not sure I remember how it was. I think that's there. That one's there. That one is there. And these are on the ends. Okay. So I am starting with a piece of that foil paper. And I believe it's this is 4 1/8 by 5 1/2. No, 5 3/8. Okay, so I am going to start with just adding these. I think I need to trim this. I'm going to trim it down because I want it to be the same size. So I'm going to change this to 4 inches by 5 1/4. Not sure why I ended up with that different. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to put these down. And as we're going along, like every other one is going to get popped up. All right. And so let's just see here how it's going to fit, because I am not sure they all fit. I believe it fits, but to be honest, I did this a while ago and I don't remember. Okay, it does fit. It'll fit on here perfectly. All right. So what's going to happen is you have glue, dimensional, glue, dimensional, glue, dimensional, glue, dimensional. But I might do glue, dimensional, glue, and these two on dimensionals. I don't like it being off like that. And I think I would do better that way. Okay. All right, we're going to do it. Everybody can do their own, but this is because I didn't pay close enough attention to know exactly how she did it. And that doesn't matter. I'm doing my own thing. All right. So this is going to go on here and you're getting it right on the edge. Now, the reason I wanted the foil backing is because when I put it up with dimensionals, I think you're going to see whatever's behind there. And I thought this would be a good background to have on it. All right, so I'm going to do this here. And we're going to do this side now. Okay. See if June can do it the right way and not mess up. There we go. That foil is not forgiving. Okay, perfect. All right, so now this one, and for just because I think this is what I need to do, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And then we're going to let this one dry a little bit before we put down the thing. And we're going to do a little bit of stamping, because then these will get glued down and then those are going to be on dimensionals. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think it's a neat little effect. Wanda, I do. I think it's a neat little effect. All right, so I have my little white piece over here to do some stamping for our sentiment. But I decided to pull from different stamps for this, and I pulled out, just because the sentiments in the kit, I've kind of run them out in my head. I love this magical, okay, from the Terrific Toadstools, and this is still available in the clearance, okay. This is a newer stamp set that's available online currently, and I'm using this Happy Birthday. So that is what I am going to be stamping here. All right, so we're going to do You Are Magical here, and I'm just letting that dry for the time being. All right, and so let me get my Blackberry Bliss out. All right, so we're going to have You Are Magical. And that is going to go right here like that. Okay. And then I did some stars, and for the stars I did use the oh goodness, where is it? The ink from the kit. Oh goodness, I thought I almost messed that up. All right, it's Misty Moonlight, okay, and we're using the stars, but let me clean them because I used Memento the last time. And we're gonna do a little stamping off. So I'm just gonna grab a little piece here. So I'm just gonna go on here like that. And because I just wanted the stars to be a little bit fainter on here. Okay, so that's that. So that's how that looks. And then I am making a little banner out of it. Okay, and you can see I'm all about the precision, cutting my own here. So let me get my glasses so I can see where I'm cutting this close. All right, and then okay, so there's our little banner, a little bit bigger than the other one, but that's all right. All right, I think this is good now because what I'm trying to be able to do is have it be repositioning so I can just pull it up again. But I wanted to put it on here where it needs to go so I can line up the next one. Then I can just pull this up and put the dimensionals on there. It's still kind of being wiggly, but I think I'll still be able to pull it up. All right, so this is going right here like that. So that's perfect. All right, now I'm going to put glue on this one all the way and put that one down right next to it like so. And just making sure that's right where I want it. So now I can pull that one up. And then we'll do this one over here. And put that one down right next to this one. And then I can pull this one up. And then these two are going to get put on with dimensionals. All right, so I'm going to put this one on here. Just kind of set it on here. And I'm going to do the dimensionals down this one. I think I'm just going to use these mini ones. I think it's a neat effect because it just kind of looks a little bit more dimensional, I guess. And now I can put my lantern on here because I don't know that I had another lantern set aside, but the one we didn't use on the other card can be used on this one. I told y'all at the beginning, I am out of pieces. All right. There we go. And this one's going to go right next to it. And then we'll put the other ones on before we put that down to our card front. All right. Oh, we are moving along. I would love to see your card that you made, Wanda. Did you already send it away to somebody? The one you made like this? Ta-da! All right, so now let's put dimensionals on this one. And we'll put them on here as well. I guess maybe we won't get to the other card. I have one more card. So I'll come back next Sunday with that one. I'll give you a little sneak peek before we go. But since I made my boo-boo and ran us along, I'll come back and do that. I don't know. I don't think so. I think that might be why I had it different. There's 8 of them. So 8 1/2-inch strips. Maybe that's why it's not, well, that is why I'm ending up with I guess a different ending. So it's okay. Guess I need to put a dimensional on that part because it wants to pop down. I'm probably sure Cheryl's made this kind of a card before. I have no idea what you would call it, but just an interesting little technique. Seems pretty simple, but it's a little tedious. There we go. So that's what you end up with, like different dimensions there. And I just made the 2 in the middle on top, which is totally fine. New to you, huh? Wow. Well, that's cool. All right, let's score our card while we're here. Card base. So I've got a Blackberry Bliss card base, 11 by 4 1/4. So we have that. All right. And get that burnished. I need to do the stamping for the inside. I guess I totally got all excited about my other stuff. Can you tell I'm like super distracted? Oh my gosh. I am. No wonder we make mistakes when that happens. All right. So this is going to go right on here. I got the Blackberry Bliss. I'm wondering if I put stars on the inside. I did. So let's do that because I think that's pretty. All right. And I know I have like a little bit of a smaller card piece here. But it was a piece I had left. And so I've got this other stuff we're going to add on the inside. So let's go ahead and get that put down. So I've got sticky dimensionals everywhere from messing up. All right, so we're going to put this down right here. like that. That's the first part. And just like that. And then we have this little guy that's going to go next to it. But this is too tall. What did I have this at? Huh. Well, this piece is, oh my goodness, it's 5 1/16. Well, that's silly. Get both of these out here to make sure we get this right. So 5 1/16 there. And 5 1/16. You totally get to do whatever you want. You don't have to follow this because this is crazy. But if you wanted something on the inside, normally it's 4 inches by 5 1/4. And that's normally what I have. But because I had this little piece, I just decided to try and use what I had available to put on the inside. And it worked out fine. And we're just adding that here, like a little added extra. There you go. All right. So now we're going to add this on the front of here, like so. And then we are almost to the finish line. I like the technique of this. I do think it gives a little fun dimension. I really wish I would have put a dimensional under here. I think I'm going to try and see if I can add one at least, just to keep it from poking down. There we go. There we go. And so that's how that looks. Now we're going to add our little sentiment here. Okay. And, oh, I got glue on my finger. I kept wondering what was sticky. All right, so we're going to add our little sentiment down here. So I'm just going to do a couple of little dimensionals here, like that. Okay, to put that down. And maybe just a little tiny glue dot right here. And then I like to put it all the way out there like that. Okay, so we got our "You Are Magical, Happy Birthday." And so I did have this other lantern here. So I am thinking that we should just add it right on here. And shockingly, it's going to let me get that dimensional up that we had on there. All right. There we go. Da-da-da. All right, now I had some little stars. What did I do with them? I don't know if they've gotten moved around here. I don't need that. Where did they go? Well, I had some little stars, but I guess I have a couple of these little gems left, but I don't know if you saw, these were left over from some other kit that we had, and I thought, oh, those would be awesome. But let's just use our little pieces left from the kit. So I'm going to put one here, and then I'm going to put one right here, and we'll put one right down here. So that is our second card. Improvising, that's right. Every day, improvising. All right, so that's our second card. Now, I was going to give you a little sneak peek for the last one that I have. And we are going to do it with a different card base, but I think this came out really fun. And so I ended up using an envelope to make like a frame, as you can see, and I kind of distressed it. But I did that on the inside. Now I have a different card base left that we're going to utilize, and I think it's the one with the all of the fireworks. So it's this one. We're going to use that to do the same kind of thing here. So that will be next week. And I used up all my pieces. So I think that will be fun for next week. And then hopefully thereafter we will be getting our June kit and we'll be playing with that one. So, all right, we made this card here. Okay, and that's two different ways. And you're right, Wanda, this one had 5, and so I was able to go up and down. What I did on here though is these pieces are 3 3/4, so 3 3/4 4 times, and then the middle one is a half, is 5/8 of an inch, and I had enough to spread it out, you know, and give that kind of a different look. So just a different way of doing it, but the same kind of effect. Okay, so we did that, and then we made this card, this shaker card, which I think is really pretty. I'm sorry it didn't turn out like the sample I made, which was an easel card, but really, really fun cards today. And I am happy that you joined me. Now, I did make a couple cards last week, and these are the cards we made last week. So I made this card last week, with that foiling behind there, and so we did 2 different styles of that. And then these are the same, and this is just like a Z fold here. They're 2 basically the same. So very, very fun. Have loved playing with the kit. And I just decided not to open up my second one, but I've utilized all my pieces. So that's pretty exciting. I literally don't have much left. And so next week we'll have 1 card, and I look forward to seeing y'all then. If you have any questions about Paper Pumpkin, there's some information in the description of this video. I would love for you to subscribe with me and let me spoil you with happy mail on a regular basis. And so have a great rest of your day. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.